Hi guys, what are we gonna do today? I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make these cute fall bags. But after you learn how to do them, you can make them into any occasion you want with one sheet of paper and some fun embellishments. Let's get started. So I'm gonna start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I have this paper on my shop. It's between a copy paper and brown craft wrap bag. It's kind of fun because it's thin enough you could run through a printer, and it's got that texture of a craft bag. So I really like this paper. This is what I'm using. You could use whatever you would like. I'm gonna be using my Chippy Paint stamp and my Crackle stamp. I'm just gonna put some ink on here, depending on how distressed you want it, on how much you use. And I'm just gonna do a hit and miss here and there. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is fold our sheet of paper in half. So now your paper is folded and it's 5.5 by 8.5. So I have my sunflower stamp. I think what I'm gonna do is just having it come up off the edge. So I kind of wanna see where I want it. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take the mask for this, and you have the stamp, you'll have masks that come with it. If you don't, and you have a different stamp you're using, all you need to do is stamp this onto a sheet of paper, cut the image out, and you will have a mask. I have my mask here, and I am just going to dry brush this with a gold paint. When you are stenciling or dry brushing, you get paint on the end of your brush, and you pounce it off to get it drier. I just do an up and down motion. So you want to hold your mask steady so it doesn't slide and move. Okay, we'll pick this up. So I'm going to do brown in the center. So to do that, I cut another mask and I cut just the center out that is going to be in brown from this stamp. As I'm just lining up the top edges of this. So I know where I want to go with brown. Need just a little of this. Holding your stencil steady, up and down again. Okay. I am going to let this dry real quick, and then we are going to stamp. So when your paint is dry on there, I have my stamp here that I'm going to use black ink. You're going to need to line this up. And if your stamp is really kind of smudgy and dirty, it's going to be really hard to see. I'm just using black ink. I'm going to add another cute little tag to the top of this before I finish putting this together. It's just a little tag stamp that I thought was very cute. So now I'm going to sew the edges of my bag. You can see my fold is here. My right side edge and across the bottom is where I'm going to do a zigzag stitch. You could tape it, glue it, whatever you would like. I just like the look of this, and I'm doing a zigzag. Okay, let's finish her up. Okay, so what I did is I wanted a rectangular handle. So I just made a little template, and this is about 3 inches long by 3/4 inch wide. Left an edge up here, so all I need to do is line this up in the center and draw it, and I know that will be my handle. If I was on another table, I would probably just take my X-Acto and cut it out, and just cut this rectangle out. If you had a punch that was this size, that would make it even easier. Now I am going to distress this. So I'm using Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. You could distress any way you would like. I really like using this because it's water activated. I'm even going over my stitches. And you could just use a little brush or just spray it with some water real quick. I am going to iron this. So I'm using a piece of parchment paper over the top. And I'm using a hot iron on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it. So I'm using a high gloss sealer, but you could actually just use wax if you would like. Front side's dry, so I'm going to do the back side real quick. So after both sides are dry, you can see it'll start like bubbling up your paper a little, which is kind of cool too. But I want to iron this down again, and it gives it a different look. So I'm using my parchment paper over the top again. So to add a little more interest, I decided I would add a piece of sari silk to this. A little knot at the top, and I'm just going to use my mini stapler and at this very edge to staple under the knot. And we are done. Okay guys, I hope you think this was fun. Look how easy this was. Even for fall, Halloween, anything else, you could add pumpkins to the bottom. For Christmas, maybe you could do a Christmas tree. But I thought these were cute little goodie bags, gift bags. You could even put them at your table setting with a napkin and some silverware in them. Hope you guys give this a shot, but whatever you do, have fun.